Sounds great.
Hi, everybody. I am so happy to be sitting across from Laura Gunter. And Laura is on the Ulta Design Team, Ulta Beauty Design Team. She's based in Atlanta. But the reason we wanted to sit down together is because Laura shared this beautiful bridal collection and talked about how it came about, and it came about really through a combination of mentorship and also Laura having a great year during 2020, which should be a sub story, a story in and of itself. And she wanted to reinvest in herself with this mentorship. So Laura, welcome, and tell me a little bit about your beauty background. Give us a little bio.
Well, thank you so much, Anne. I am really grateful for this opportunity. I am not originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I am from a small little baby town in Alabama. It's a micro town, but I have been in the beauty industry now for about 15 years, and I've literally done everything you can think of in the beauty industry. I've worked behind the chair in a chain salon. I have been a booth rental stylist. I have been an educator for cosmetology schools. I've also managed salons. I've done everything but own my own salon, really. And I've gotten to do fashion week and commercial work and just editorial, lots of fun stuff. I'm really grateful for all of those opportunities. But for the last 3 years, I've been living in Atlanta and loving every minute of it.
I'm glad to hear that. You and I were talking before we started recording that Atlanta was one of the first states to open up and that it's gone so well for you. Before we jump into talking about the shoot, tell me a little bit about that because I'm so intrigued to hear that your 2020 was such a success.
For me, it was a landmark year, which I know is not the case for a lot of stylists. I'm really grateful for that. But before this, I was traveling a lot, so I didn't have the opportunity to really focus on my behind the chair work because I was traveling with the design team. But I had a landmark year for myself, and I just focused really on those guests that were willing to come back. I mean, it was a an interesting time, right? We had people who were afraid and people who were nervous. And really, I have to thank for that the fact that Ulta Beauty really set a standard for what safety looks like in the salon, and they stuck to it. And so my guests felt comfortable. We opened in stages. We opened at first with just our salon staff coming in and just our guests for the salon coming in, and then slowly they started to open the retail guests. So our guests felt like they could get comfortable before the store was fully open. And we just recently moved from 50% capacity to 75% capacity. So we've still just been focusing on one guest at a time and giving every guest that level of service that makes them want to come back every time. So that's the real reason I think it was successful.
I'm glad to hear it. So let's talk about the photo shoot. And I called it a bridal collection because that's what it read to me. But then this morning I looked at it again and I thought, this is just a beautiful spring photo shoot. I mean, she's wearing white, but this could be, and also because you were careful to get close-up shots, shots in different poses. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely collection. Tell us how the mentorship relationship came about because had you done a photo shoot before?
So yes, I've done photo shoots before, but this was my first time ever submitting a collection on my own, just trying to see what kind of reaction I would get. And Danielle Kiesling is my mentor. I don't think I've mentioned her name yet, but she's been amazing. And she really pushed me to, have you done that yet? This is your goal. I know you want to do this. And for me, mentorship is really about having someone hold you accountable. I knew all of the pieces and how to put the pieces together, but I didn't know in what way to put them together. And, I've learned a lot from her experiences, and she's really helped me figure out, this is a timeline, this is how you should do it. And just, she's actually even, I've assisted her on other collections she's done so she could show me, you don't have to do a big budget. It can be, you can do this with a small budget. I think all in all, I bought some flowers from Kroger. I bought some dresses from Amazon and some like jewelry from the dollar store and put together this collection for a very low budget. And I've networked with a lot of photographers and models and makeup artists, and everybody got something great out of it. So it was a very, very low budget situation, but I think it reflects that you don't have to have a large budget. And if you think that's what's holding you back, then it's not a good reason to hold you back.
I like what you said about mentors holding you accountable. And is that because, sometimes we talk about, oh, I want to do that. I wish I could do that. So was your relationship with Danielle her saying, well, then do it?
Pretty much just, yeah. Are you going to do it? Okay, then let's do it. Do it right now. And for me, her coaching program, it was like, I have to put some skin in the game, and if I don't have skin in the game, meaning money, right, then do you want it bad enough? It's like when you hire a personal trainer or someone to help you with your diet. You do that because you need someone, not that you don't know, like, that you need to work out to get fit, but you need someone who's there going, "Okay, you said you were gonna be here Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you're coming Tuesday and Thursday." So it's just really someone pushing back against you when you start to feel those like inner voices of, is this good enough, am I good enough, perfectionism, getting in the way. I'm a huge perfectionist, and she's definitely pushed me out of that. She says perfectionism is paralyzing, and she's totally right, because nothing's ever going to be perfect, and so you have to settle for like as perfect as it can be, and which is even probably still not right. I should just push perfectionism out of the way completely, but it's difficult if you're someone who really strives for that.
And you also mentioned that it was, a leap of faith to put your work out there. And sometimes we forget that because we see your work on social media, we see you sharing, all the time,
Right.
but can forget that it's kind of a separate thing to now say, here, I'm going to show you my blood, sweat, and tears, captured in these images. And has has that been a learning experience, just sort of putting it out there and seeing how it landed? Because you have no control over that. Once you've, hit that send, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there were definitely some moments of, "Oh, I'm gonna send it. Oh, wait, do I send it? Yes, send it. Okay, someone else hit the button," because it is hard, when you're saying this is something that I love and I think is beautiful, and you don't know how it's going to be received. But another design team member, so we were NAHA finalists for Team of the Year 2 years in a row, and we talked about it. You know what? Art is subjective. Just because we love our collection and we're proud of it, and it didn't win, that's okay, because we're still really proud of what we did, and art is subjective. So someone that looks at your collection is not necessarily going to see the same things you see in it, or feel the same way about it you feel, because they don't have the same personal connection to it. But I think just remembering that, just the fact that you did it, you've already done more than 95% of other people who just say they want to do it and then never do.
I, so true. Uh, Could you talk a little bit? So you mentioned that you did this on very low budget. You did it through maybe some trade and some relationships with other people. Can you tell us a little bit about, something you learned on set where you maybe had to pivot and go, oh, wait, this is not where, or maybe you didn't have this moment. Maybe everything went just as you envisioned. But if it didn't, did you ever have to kind of, riff and think on the spot, like, what am I going to do differently here?
So with this particular photo shoot, no, but I've definitely had that experience before where you start something and it's not going the way you think it's going to go. And so then you have to just change direction. And I think some of that is just like, don't try to force it. When you see that it's not working, you go, okay, well, this isn't working. So let's try something else. And then don't be afraid to like start small and work, build up. So I wanted to put flowers in her hair. I wanted to do all these things. But if I just started there, you can't really go back from that. So I think starting from a safe place and a safe style, and then building up from that is a really good call out and a good thing to think about if you're wanting to do something like this, because sometimes you can take it too far and then there's no going back once you've done that. So get your safety shots and then get creative.
That's such good advice. After you had completed the collection, I mean, I know that there's editing process and you're not done, but how did that experience, what did you bring back to the salon after having done that? Was there a kind of like increased, level of confidence, or did it remind you how much you just love what you do? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's how I just wanted to know what doing that shoot did for you once you returned to work with your clients.
I always say the work behind my chair like feeds my belly, and then the work in the studio like feeds my soul. So if I had to say, like, I love doing work behind the chair and I love my clients and I love that relationship, but it is a little bit like, oh, 6 in root touch up again today. Great. It gets a little bit, for us creative types, a little monotonous. And so doing a photo shoot like this really breaks it up and um, gets your creative juices flowing again so that you can continue to give your guests the same love and energy, and maybe think about new ways of creating formulas or creating finished looks, or maybe even creating that photo shoot moment for your guests in the salon. So I learn a lot from photographers about lighting, especially indoor lighting, and how to really compensate for the overhead fluorescence, and that's a huge part. So it helps me to take better pictures of my own work because I learn to see what the camera sees. And that's a big deal. So then you're looking on your phone, you're looking at the hair in the camera, you're seeing something different than when you're looking at it in person and you're like, gosh, this doesn't capture it the same way. Learning from a photo shoot perspective, you get to figure out what you can do to make the pictures on the phone look like the picture, what you see in real life.
Such a good comment, because you're right. I mean, it's as you said, it's what the camera sees,
Hmm.
and you want to be able to then show your best work all the time. I have one last question for you, and that is
Sure.
really, you just mentioned that before this, you were traveling a lot, and can you tell us a little bit about your work with the Ulta Beauty Design Team, what that looks like?
Right. Well, this year it's looked very different, but I'll speak to what it looked like pre-COVID. So, pre-COVID, we were together, I would say, gosh, probably 12 times a year. We attend beauty shows. We uh, did have a stage presentation. We have a big presence at Premiere Orlando, ABS in Chicago. We've participated in Beauty Changes Lives. We have done just a lot of different things together and marketing campaigns. So I've gotten to work on some of the marketing campaigns for Ulta Beauty Design, or Ulta Beauty, the store. The pictures you see when you walk in the door, every photo shoot, there is a design team member on set assisting the pro team for that hair. So those are real hairdressers. That's something that they really get to do. And that's something I never really thought I would get to do when I just was a hairstylist coming out of beauty school. I thought you can be a hairstylist, you can be a salon owner, or you can be a teacher. And that was it. That was all I knew. But there's really so many more like petals to the flower of being a hairstylist, that I had no idea even existed. So I've gotten to work with the pro team, of course, Ammon Carver, Nick Stenson. Those are our fearless leaders, and they've been great sources of inspiration for me. And they let us spread our wings, but then they also really give us what they thought they wanted to have, what they missed, really, what they didn't have when they were starting out. And so they help us kind of on that journey. And we learn so much from them all the time. And like I said, that's what I've been missing. And so obviously that's a big piece, and so much networking and creativity. Yeah, I don't want to get sad because I feel like we're on the cusp of things coming back.
I think we are too. I agree with
Yeah.
you. And yeah, let's just leave with that beautiful image of petals on the flower.
It is springtime,
It
so
is
yes.
spring. That's right. And that's when hope emerges,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're going to get back. And again, I'm just so grateful that you took time to talk to us. We love your collection and we love your story because, creativity will not be denied, right? It's got to come out. So,
Right.
so Laura Gunter, thank you so much. Can you give a shout out and let everybody know your social handle and where people can follow you and find more of your work?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook as at Laura Gunter Hair. So it's my name and hair all spelled out. And that's it. That's my social media. You can find me on all channels except Twitter because I don't know how to Twitter, but I'm on everything else as Laura Gunter Hair.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. I'm so grateful to talk to you, Laura. All
Yeah,
the
thank
best.
you. You too. Bye bye.